If you had told me just a few months ago that I'd be flying first class from my hometown airport, there's no way I'd have believed you. But lo and behold, a recent last-minute trip had me doing exactly that, flying on board American Eagle's Embraer 170 in its most premium cabin from Champaign to Chicago. This might not seem like such a big deal to most of you, and I'm sure you're wondering why I flew the short distance to Chicago instead of driving or taking the train. Well, all I can say is that you're going to learn a lot from today's trip report, so with that being said, let's begin. It's just after 4:45 a.m. on a very peaceful morning at Willard Airport. Having checked in online, I quickly printed out a copy of my boarding pass and proceeded upstairs to TSA. Now, it's worth mentioning that the down escalator on the left side has been out of service for the past year and a half, but it'll be repaired soon. That's especially considering Willard Airport is finally receiving a major terminal renovation project that's set to be completed next year. This entire upstairs waiting area will eventually be converted into the new TSA checkpoint, and you can see the renovation work has already begun, with some scaffolding covering part of the check-in hall. After breezing through TSA, the terminal renovations can be felt airside as well. Einstein Brothers Bagels, having closed during the pandemic, has finally been completely removed and replaced by more seating. This morning, I'm departing from Gate 3 for the first time, and I didn't expect to see that the holding areas for Gates 3 and 4 are completely closed off. It's a temporary inconvenience, but also really encouraging to see that the renovation is well underway. Now, previously, you'd be able to get some really up-close views of the aircraft parked at Gate 3. Unfortunately, due to the scaffolding, that's temporarily not possible, so this is the best view that we're going to get of our Embraer 170. This aircraft originally flew with British Airways City Flyer before joining Envoy Air/American Eagle in 2021. Also, fun fact, despite this plane having RW in its registration, it never flew for Republic Airways. The RW actually serves as a reference to Rick Wilson, Envoy Air's Vice President of Flight Operations. So let's quickly talk about why, for me at least, flying first class from Champaign is such a big deal. Believe it or not, premium classes of service were never offered from Champaign until just earlier this year in May 2023. That's because for the past 20 years or so, American Eagle had been serving Champaign with its fleet of Embraer 145s. These 50-seat regional jets only offered economy class, but long story short, the 145's time serving Champaign came to an end on May 4th, 2023. On May 5th, all flights into Champaign were upgraded to Embraer 170s and 175s. Not only did these regional jets seat more passengers, but they also offered first class, marking the first time in Willard Airport history that such a product would be available on its flights. American Eagle continues to serve Chicago O'Hare and Dallas Fort Worth from Champaign, and here at Gate 2, we see an Embraer 175 that would operate the 640 flight to Dallas. Our 6:05 Chicago flight is the first one of the day, and boarding was soon called on time. The American Eagle Embraer 170 seats 65 passengers, with 12 in first class and 53 in main cabin. First class is laid out across 4 rows in a 1-2 configuration. This morning, I'll be in seat 4F, and as expected, these seats are very spacious and comfortable. The seat back is pretty basic. Of course, there's a lot of leg space and a large seat pocket as well. The seats recline rather generously, and the button is in a somewhat awkward spot by your leg. Otherwise, first class seats also come with personal air vents, reading lights, and call buttons. Pre-departure beverages were served soon after I got seated, providing quite literally my first taste of first class from Champaign. It was going to be a long day, so for some reason I went with Coke. Champaign has consistently boasted high load factors for American, with the average Champaign flight going out an impressive 84% full. With such high numbers, it's no surprise that first class today was completely full. forgot to cover this on the ground, but in the center console for every 2 seats, there's a small drink tray that you can pull out if you don't want to mess with the tray table. One of the many advantages that the Embraer 170 and 175s have over the 145s is the presence of in-flight Wi-Fi. Granted, it's a short flight, so there's no use for it, but I still thought it was worth a mention. Now, I struggled a fair bit with the tray table, but I couldn't help but notice just how filthy the inside of the armrest was. Not much I could do about it, but this wasn't very nice to see. Given the short duration, only drinks were served in flight, this time in real glassware. I went with water this time and was secretly hoping that there would be some sort of snack service at least for first class, but unfortunately that wasn't the case here. And that was literally it. Once the glasses were collected, we were beginning our descent into Chicago. The vast majority of passengers who fly between Champaign and Chicago will connect in O'Hare to or from somewhere else. I'm really curious to know how many people fly solely between these two cities and don't connect, because I was definitely the only person on this flight terminating in Chicago. Unfortunately, the visibility this morning was pretty terrible, so despite descending over the city and Lake Michigan, we wouldn't see the ground until our short finals for runway 28 center. So at the beginning of the video, I mentioned that this was a rather last-minute trip up to Chicago. It was a Sunday and I had a meeting that I didn't actually have to attend but still decided to go anyway. That day, all of the trains coming back home were completely sold out and I really didn't want to drive or take the bus. So out of curiosity, 6 days in advance, I searched up award flights on British Airways Executive Club and was somehow able to find availability. Now, as for how much I paid, this ticket was mainly paid for by Avios points, and in all honesty, looking back on this, I am not super proud at how many points I wasted, but then again, for me, this was more about the novelty of flying first class from my hometown. I booked a round-trip ticket for 22,500 Avios with $11.20 being paid in taxes. 22,500 Avios is about $539. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Again, I'm not very proud of this investment and won't make such a wasteful decision in the future, but at the end of the day, my meeting went well and I finally did something I've always wanted to do. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. I'd be around Chicago for the whole day before spending the night at a hotel near O'Hare and flying back home the following day to make it back just in time for class. That video on the CRJ200 will be coming out soon, so be sure to not miss out. Please don't forget to like, comment, and also subscribe if you're new to my channel. But until next time, take care everyone, and I'll see you very soon.